guys, welcome to our post-season interview with Adrian Noott, our club captain, just to get an overview of his thoughts from last season and his plans for pre-season training this year. By doing this, I'm going to ask a few questions. So the first question is, how do you think the season went from an overall perspective?
Last season was a right mixed bag, if I'm honest. I think we started off in terms of the ground pound game, very first game of the season, with incredibly high hopes, especially after our batting performance, and then obviously didn't come away with a win on that. I obviously got injured, and I think it's fair to say within the first 5 or 6 games, including the loss to Camborne in the Winter Cup, it was clear that any ambition of getting promoted had pretty much gone at that point. So it was very much a case of taking stock, analysing what we can do better, looking at who are the right people to drive the team forward across the year and moving forward into next year and beyond, and very much use it as a learning curve. Obviously, it was my first year as captain, kind of having done it 10 years ago, so it was a really good opportunity, especially being injured, to kind of sit back for certainly 3 months of the season and watch and learn and observe. And ultimately, come the last sort of third of the season, I feel like results picked up. We found a way to play that suited our game and the players we have, and we ended up really positive, I think. So hopefully we can take that forward into next year.
Brilliant. So our next question is, what went well last season to secure your winning results?
On the previous answer, certainly the back end of the season results picked up. We played really positively, but I think the majority of the time that came from an incredibly solid batting performance that got us 200 plus, 250 plus, to enable us to compete and set a platform to then attack and be positive with the ball. Almost as simple as that. We found a way. John, I don't want to single people out specifically, but John was incredible to get us on that path. And then people chipped in throughout. I had some runs. James Tomlinson had some runs. Harry finished the season incredibly strongly. So overall, batting was definitely something that got us platforms in order to compete. But then you look at other games where we didn't do so well with the bat. For example, Beacon at home, and Matt Morgan ran through people. So that was also a really positive thing. But generally, our batting setup, our bowling performances, and the bowling of them benefited from that.
Our next question is, how well did the youngsters perform for you in the first team last season?
Incredibly well. Simple answer. Perrin and Callum, I think, were the main two that we're referring to there. Obviously finished in the top 10, certainly. Whether it was top 5 specifically of the wicket takers was phenomenal effort on both of them. They were both mid-30s, so incredibly close. I still think there's lots of room for improvement with both of them, but what a platform to start from. So I look forward to seeing them develop. And obviously, latter part of the season, we had Hayden and Isaac step up, and they certainly, with their bowling, gave us a really solid start to our bowling efforts. Good control, took wickets, so that fills us with lots and lots of confidence for the future with those two. But I mean, I suppose it really depends where youngsters stop. Who else do we have in the team that was perhaps early 20s? Scott started off the season positively with his 80, but we're talking about the 4 youngsters there, and they were certainly a huge credit to the club, and we look forward to watching them develop.
So our next question is, what could you guys as a team improve in the pre-season training for this next coming season?
From those previous conversations, we need to make sure that our batting starts at the level we finished at last year, so we are scoring big runs as soon as we possibly can to give the bowlers the platform. In terms of our bowling, in terms of our overall cricket, not just necessarily our bowling or our batting, the one thing I repeatedly go on about, and it's really simple, is make sure we're doing the basics as best we possibly can. So with batters, it's make sure we're batting periods of time, playing to our strengths, and not playing shots that perhaps aren't in our skill set. So that will be something we'll emphasise a lot with batters. Bowlers, making sure at the level of cricket we play at, we are bowling as accurately as we can so the batters make mistakes. Building pressure by putting the ball in the right place, simple as that. And in our fielding, obviously taking as many catches as we can and stopping as many runs as we can. So we'll do some work around that. But ultimately, it's about doing the basics better than everyone else. So we will hammer that home as much as we can.
Our last 2 questions will be combined together. And the questions are: what plans are in place for winter training, and what do you guys as a team want to get out of it?
So winter training wise, obviously we've had a bit of a break and I've had a second child, so deliberately stepped away just to give myself some space and obviously work through that, and obviously just have a break because we know it's a bit of a challenging time. But winter nets start 27th of January. Probably the plan will be to do them every couple of weeks rather than go wholeheartedly every week. Don't want to overcook people, certainly indoors, but we will then get out as soon as it's possible to get out in the light better outside and the outfield is good. We'll get outside, do 2 or 3 sessions a week to try and get ahead of the game, with an in-house friendly like we normally do, and potentially a friendly against someone else to help us get ready for the season. But yeah, all systems go. We'll ramp it up as we get nearer the season, to get more overs under our belt, more balls hit, and more fielding work done, just so we're ready and give ourselves the best chance.
Thank you guys for listening to this post-season interview with Adrian Noott. I hope you follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as our new running app TikTok and this YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like this video. Hope to see you in the season. Look after yourselves and we'll see you soon.